Morning. I pray that you're doing well on this Testimonial Tuesday. Just want to bring you the Greek word of the day. The Greek word of the day is coming from the book of James, James chapter number 1 and the verses number 5, where the Bible tells us, if any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God. On our last broadcast, we used the same book, chapter, and verse, but on today, I want to focus in on a different word. I want to look at what follows the word wisdom, where it says of God. It's two words, para and thea. Para means to come alongside, to come in closer proximity. And then we have the word thea, which is God in the Greek. What God says, he says, when you ask something, he says, the only condition that I have is that you come as close as you can to me. Just as a child will come as close as they can to their parent. He says, now, I want you to come close. I want you to be in my presence. And I like to think of, when Moses went to get the revelation, he stood in the presence of God for 40 days and 40 nights. And one of the things that Moses had to understand, the ground that you're now standing on is holy ground. He told him to take off his shoes. And when we come in the presence of God, sometimes it reveals things about us. And that's the thing. We got to be willing to take it off. We got to be willing to deal with ourselves. And we got to be willing to stay in the presence of God and not to run out the presence of God before we receive the revelation that we so heartily seek. So God says, come just as a child come to a father. Matter of fact, James tells us in James 4:8, draw close to God and he will draw close to us as well. James says, cleanse your hands, get rid of the sin. God's going to bless us if we are willing to come closer to him. So on this Testimonial Tuesday, my question is, why are you so far away? We live in such a privileged time. We live in a time where you can draw as close as possible to God like no other dispensation. Jesus is our advocate with the Father. He intercedes for us. He died on our behalf. When he goes in the presence of God, he speaks highly for us. When God sees us now, once we put on Christ Jesus in baptism, God no longer sees our unrighteousness. He sees the righteousness of his Son on us because we have drawn as close as we can to the Father through his Son. And he said, ask of me, because now you're so close in proximity, you can ask what you need. So on this Testimonial Tuesday, the Greek word of the day is actually two words. We don't focus too much on para, but thea, talking about God. Come along the side of God. You don't have to stand far away. All right, pray that you're doing well. Until next time, we bid you Godspeed.